Pen tool is a very versatile and powerful tool, but it can be very tricky if not used properly. In this video, we'll learn how to use it, but most of all, when to use it.
This video is brought to you by EpiPies Academy.
Now, what Pen tool does is it creates paths that go from one anchor point to another. Paths can be regular or irregular, open or closed. It's better to always close them, by the way. So I'll go ahead and grab the pen tool here, but ultimately I'd like you to activate the pen tool by clicking the letter P on your keyboard. I'll start clicking to create paths like so. As you can see, with each click I create another path. And whenever I hover over my first anchor point, I'll get the circle indicating that I can close my path here. So I'm gonna do that. Of course, with the pen tool, we can create not only sharp paths, but also curvy paths as well. And the basic way to do this is to click and drag like so. I think that the coolest thing about the pen tool is its flexibility. What I mean is that you can combine straight and curvy paths with it. I'll click and drag to make a curvy path. But now I don't want to create a curvy anchor point, but a sharp one. I want to have a sharp corner. To do that, I'll hold the Alt key to convert the anchor point like so. The direction handle I'm adjusting right now will show the direction of the next path. And even if I click in the opposite direction, the pen tool will still follow the initial direction, creating a path like this, and still creating a sharp corner. So let's review this technique. Click and drag to create a curve. Hold down the Alt key to manipulate the control handle. You can hold down the Shift key to control the handle in 45-degree increments, by the way, and create a sharp corner. Okay, great. These are the basics of so-called Bezier curves. But remember not to get tempted to create every irregular shape with the pen tool. Such creations are inaccurate far too often. When we get to transformations and paths manipulations, we'll get to know much better ways to create irregular shapes. The pen tool also allows to add or subtract anchor points, and that comes in really handy when creating irregular shapes. So let's take a closer look at it. In the pen tool section, we also have, let's call them subsidiary pen tools, which allow us to add or remove anchor points. But in most cases, your primary pen tool will let you do the same. Let me show you what I mean. I'll clean up my artboard and go ahead and create a square. I'll use the rectangle tool. I'll click and drag holding down the Shift key to constrain the proportions. I'll switch back to the pen tool. Now if I hover over an anchor point, the pen tool will allow me to remove an anchor point, but not to delete it. And this is really important. Deleting with the delete key will leave us with an open path. Removing an anchor point will give us a closed path, a new shape, and in this case it's a triangle. If I now hover over the pen tool over the path, I'll be able to add an anchor point. See this little plus symbol next to the pen tool? Well, that tells me that if I click right now, I'm gonna add an anchor point like so. Pen tool allows us to add anchor points wherever we like and add them one by one. But if you need an equal amount of new anchor points and you need them to be added in a regular distance from each other, well, there's a better way to go. Let me go back a few steps so I'm back with my square. Now, with the shape selected, I'll go to Object, Path, and choose Add Anchor Points. What it did is, it added the same amount of anchor points that made our shape. So if my shape comprised of 4 anchor points, Add Anchor Points command doubled this value. We have 8 anchor points now. Of course, if I had a shape that comprised of some other amount of anchor points, by using this technique I would still add twice the amount of anchor points in an equal distance from each other. So now if I start removing anchor points with the pen tool, you can see that with each click, I'm getting a different shape. Now, by using the same method, well, a similar method, we can remove anchor points. There's just one important thing to bear in mind here. If I have the whole object selected and I remove anchor points by going to the Object menu, Path, Remove Anchor Points, well, I'll remove all of them, resulting in actually deleting everything. So the best way to use this command is to select anchor points you wish to remove using the Direct Selection tool. And then go to Object, Path, Remove Anchor Points. After we created a shape with the pen tool, we can still adjust its appearance if we wish so. Let me clean up the artboard and quickly create some shape with the pen tool. Okay, that should do it. I'll go to my Direct Selection tool now and drag around any anchor point. You see these direction handles? I can move them around to adjust the look of the path. I can also move the anchor point itself. Let me show you one more thing before we move on, and that thing is the Convert Anchor Point tool. It is the last tool in the Pen Tool panel, and it has a very handy shortcut of Shift+C. So what is the Convert Anchor Point tool and what does it do? Well, it converts anchor points from curvy to sharp and from sharp to curvy. Let me give you an example. I'll create a circle. I'll turn on my ellipse tool, shift click and drag to create a perfect circle. Now with my Convert Anchor Point tool, I'll click this anchor point and this anchor point and this one and this one. As you can see, by clicking individual anchor points, we gradually turned a circle into a square by converting smooth anchor points into sharp ones. Now, if I want to reverse the process, I can click and drag on an anchor point to convert it from sharp to curvy. If I need to, I can go really crazy with it and create anything I want. But right now, I don't want to go too crazy. I mean, it's not Friday night yet. But you know what? I could be clicking and clicking all day long, but I think that the most practical way to learn the pen tool is to trace an image. And this is what we will start doing in the next video.